I'm finally back at Worlds of Fun. First time in over 7 years. I'll see if my opinions change at all about Mamba and Prowler. Don't remember much about Mamba. But since I just rode Mystic Timbers a month ago, see how that compares to Prowler. Alright, definitely still my favorite GCI. I like this better than Mystic Timbers. Granted, I think Mystic Timbers is smoother. It might have better airtime. But actually, I kind of like the roughness of Prowler. It's not overly rough. It's just that perfect kind of roughness that you really look for in a Woody. So I think this is perfect. It gives some good airtime. It feels like a longer ride than Mystic Timbers. And plus, this is a former #1 coaster of mine. You know, it was back when I hadn't ridden very many, but still, it was #1. And I loved how it went out into the woods. It's not nearly as heavily wooded surrounding the track as like on the Beast, but I'm sure this still gives a good night ride. I think they built this in the perfect location.
I would suggest you study some kind of engineering, preferably mechanical or civil engineering.
Pretty easy to re-ride too.
That's definitely the
Fury? I thought we were in Missouri. I didn't know we were in the Carolinas. That's pretty cool. I love Fury. Oh, Fury on the Nile. Oh, never mind. Have to settle for a hypercoaster. Skip the boomerang. I've done it before. Yeah, they make you walk a ways. I've been looking forward to this one. A Morgan Hyper. The one I don't remember. I'll probably appreciate it better now than I did back then. Alright, I can see why I kind of forgot this one, especially since Prowler is easily better than this. But it's a good hyper. Nothing special though. It's I put it ahead of Diamondback as far as hypers go, just because Diamondback has a terrible rattle. But Diamondback still has better airtime. Raging Bull and Titan don't have much airtime. This has more airtime than it, but Titan goes faster and more intense. Raging Bull is unique, and they have more comfortable restraints. The bars on these restraints are not terribly uncomfortable, but they're not comfortable either. They're not the best. But you get some airtime on the drop. You got two good airtime hills and some good airtime leading up into the mid-course brake run. But those little airtime hills after the mid-course don't really do anything. I don't even know if you'd call that floater airtime. But yeah, a couple good airtime moments. The Helix has some good force to it. So, good ride. Nothing spectacular though. Prowler definitely better. But it travels a long way. It's got some good speed, over 200 feet. Probably wouldn't make my top 50 coasters. B&M, despite the rattle, gives better airtime than this, especially with those awesome clamshell restraints. The advantage this has is that I was not detecting any rattle whatsoever at any point in time in the ride. So that's one advantage it has over the B&Ms. Yeah, those little hills that it just finished up with there don't really do anything. And there's a bunch of them in a row. It looks cool though. All right, coaster number 140 was Twisted Timbers. 150 Apollo's Chariot. 160 was Fury 325. So keeping with that trend, 170 is the Wacky Worm, the cosmic coaster at Worlds of Fun. Yeah, not much to it, but at least I'm allowed to ride. You go through the pumpkin a couple times, including after the only drop. There's a couple little hills, tiny hills that you don't feel in it. It's a coaster credit. One that I skipped last time I was here. Got one more, the Spinning Dragons, and then I'll have completed this park. Coaster number 171, Spinning Dragons. That was a good ride. I was riding with two people that definitely weighed more than me. They were both on the other side. The uneven weight distribution, we were spinning like crazy, more spinning than I've ever gotten on any spinning coaster. Very disorienting. I mean, when we got off, it took a couple minutes before when we were sitting on the brake run, and we were still dizzy getting off when we were getting off it. But yeah, really good ride. I don't know how it relates to other spinning coasters because I just was able to get the perfect ride with the weight distribution that we had. The Timberwolf wooden coaster was really smooth in the first half, then it got a little rough in the second half. It was too smooth in the first half. Wooden coasters aren't supposed to be that smooth. So the second half was kind of better, even though it was a little bit of jackhammering, but I'd say it's more along the lines of a B&M rattle. But a light B&M rattle, so it wasn't bad. And next up, gotta redo Patriot, since I don't remember it either. Oh, how did I not remember that? This is a great ride. It's smooth. There is no headbanging whatsoever. I rode in the front row and the back row, and both were smooth, no rattle, no headbanging. I mean, this is exactly what an invert is supposed to be. This is now my second favorite ride at the park behind Prowler. And as far as overall inverts, I'd say Montu and Banshee are my top two easily. Don't know which one I like better. This one, easily my third favorite invert of all that I've ever done. It may not be super long, but a lot of inverts aren't really that long. It only has 4 inversions instead of most of them have 5 or 7 or 6 like Raptor, but Raptor is terrible at Cedar Point. But this one is great. Yeah, very impressed. Don't know how I didn't remember this one. I must have just been in a hurry to get through the park. Yeah, weird. I like this better than Mamba. Yeah, pretty solid top 3 here between Prowler, Patriot, and Mamba. So back row left seat had a little bit of a rattle, not too bad. The right seat didn't. And the left seat in the front didn't either, not that I remember. But you do the typical B&M curve drop into the vertical loop. And there's a 0G roll right here. And an Immelman. There's another 0G roll. Somewhere off that direction. You do get that where your feet kind of go numb on you with this one. A really good ride, although, yeah, looking at it from the drop to the brakes there, it's about 40 seconds, so it is a short one. But I think that's about what Batman the Ride is. But I'd say this is better than Batman the Ride. Very smooth. Very re-rideable. Well, Cedar Point's closing theirs after this weekend, so they're probably going away at all the Cedar Fair parks. eventually. But since Worlds of Fun never gets a new coaster, they may be the last one to have it.